Hello and welcome back to the city and beyond. This will be part 3 of our planning the birthday extravaganza.
Part 3 of our planning videos. This is our third one.
This is our third one, and this time we'll be focusing on our budget because, hey, we could all save a little bit of cash.
Yeah. And we want to just shout out that, obviously, if you're American, or living in America, I should say, not just if you're American. If you're living in America right now, April 2025, things are looking a little, was it grim? You know, we do want to, before we start talking about budgets and making it seem like it's so easy, I hope that doesn't come off like it's easy, but we have a system. Shout out to our 2019, I think I don't remember exactly what it was titled, but we'll pop it up here or something, and we'll put it in the description. But it was about, basically, there was predicted to be a recession, and so we knew that travel was going to need to be a little bit more tapered and thought out. And we did not expect a pandemic, but that actually touched upon some of the things that we still apply to this day when it comes to traveling, because traveling, it is a privilege. I wouldn't say it's just a luxury, but I think it does give you time to really reconnect and to balance yourself. And so we do try to keep it in the rotation of life, the cycle of our lives, throughout the year. As you can see, year after year, we still go places, but we're also more practical than some other YouTube content creators. As you can see, the cities that we go to, we do go as far as Auckland, New Zealand, or as close as Reading, Connecticut. So we just wanted to shout that out really quick before we start talking about all this stuff. We get it. The timing could not be, I guess, worse.
We also want to remind you to watch those videos to see the experience, especially after you watch this one and you understand what we're trying to convey about the world, about finances, and just how we do things in general.
Yeah, we want to keep it real practical. We don't want it to seem like, oh, we can still afford it. It's because we really strategize, which we'll kind of touch on today.
So in today's video, we will be discussing our flight to Detroit, our upcoming trip to Cancun, that'd be after Detroit, and our accommodations for both, really.
Yeah,
and everything we're planning in between all of that to make it happen.
Let's get started.
So for all of you paying attention at home, we have finally booked our flights to and from Detroit. Yes, please, hold your applause.
Yeah, so we have our flight going and coming back from Detroit. The total ended up being, let me just double check my notes. It ended up being $521 for all three of us, the two of us and our son. And that's about $170 each. And so I think the flight going was a little bit pricier, but still pretty good individually. Then the flight coming home, we saw this deal. We have a video about this, so I'll link it in the description. We do need to update it a little bit, but we have we kind of still do some of the same things, I would say, from back then to now. It's just tracking is probably a bit easier these days.
Yes.
But so we use Hopper, or I used Hopper. Kamal, I just sent him screenshots. So I just usually go to Hopper first, have it track around the dates we're thinking, and kind of see its prediction of kind of what days might be the cheapest. I don't know if you've ever used Hopper, it's color coded on the map. And so the more green days, the better. The more green days for your going and your return flight, the better. And it shows you the average price range at the top. Anyway, I look at Hopper first, I put the dates that if we know what dates we want, it doesn't matter what the calendar says, I put those in, and then I have it just watch those days. And so from the time that I have it, I started watching it to when it has alerts for when things are dropping or going up. I kind of like just keep an eye on it. We weren't actually ready to buy flights just financially because we've been really good with, we've been really trying to budget and buy things when we actually have the funds ready for it, or to pay back on our credit cards and not just let it linger as much as we usually do. So we were like, even though it dipped a couple of times for our flight going to Detroit, we waited a bit, and so maybe we might have lost out on like really like better deals, but we still like got a pretty decent price for the going flight. But the return flight, we definitely got a really good deal. It was like $90 each or less, something like that.
Yeah. And to make this clear, in case anyone is new here, this is one of these occasions, and I'm not going to say it's rare because we do it quite often if we can't find it straight up, where we do one way and then a one-way coming back. Sometimes we do purchase the round trip if it makes sense, but obviously once you purchase a one-way, you just find another one way to come back. So to piggyback off of that, going to Detroit, we're going on Delta, and coming home, we're on United. And we have so many videos. You probably, if you're watching us, you probably have seen a United video from us. Yes.
Go and look at that. There's a lot of tricks and tips that we have on that. So buying basic economy is really, like, it's good for us because we have our United Explorer card, which allows you to pretty much treat it like an economy ticket because you get a carry-on. And since we'll have 3 tickets, we'll have 3 carry-ons and 3 personal bags. So there's really no need to check in a bag. But if we want to, we have a free checked-in bag from United as well. And
again, if you're new here, the mantra is we do not check bags. Ever. Ever.
And consulting my notes, we actually paid about $55 for each of us for that return flight home with United. So it was a really good, that was the one that we really did it like dropped, and I was like, even if like we could afford that, we could do $150 for the 3 of us for tickets, I think we should just buy it. And it ended up being like one of the flights I was watching specifically on Google Flights, which also sends you notifications when things when the price drops or it goes up. But really, you watch it obviously for when it drops. And I got that email and I was like, I think I gotta buy it. I gotta buy that because this is like really good. This time works for us because that was what we were like kind of also waiting for because of our son. We were like, there's one flight that was really cheap or inexpensive, but like the timing was a little rough with bedtime when we returned, and I was like, we could just do it if this is really the best priced one, if we want to save some money. But then this other one came in and the timing was like a lot better. It was early in the morning, but like it was a lot better for routine and stuff with our son. So we were like, let's just do it because this works for not just price wise, but for like strategizing our schedule.
A pro tip for you: if you spot a really ridiculously good flight in the range of date that you want to do, you have to strike when the iron's hot, because there is no telling how long that price is going to stay at that point. Sometimes there are just straight up error fares that happen, and like the airline company doesn't do it. If you have a partner or friend or someone you're flying with, text them, call them, DM them immediately. Be like, "Yo, you good?
This is not a drill.
I'm booking now." That's the end of it, because that's happened to us where we spotted something and we're like, maybe, and then we're like, okay, I guess we'll do it, and then it's like, nope, sorry, we figured it out. Price goes right back up. Right back up. And I've seen people complain. I was on social media the last time there was like a really big glitch. I think it was JetBlue, and they're like, oh my god, I wanted to fly out to go to my cousin, and this flight was like $75, and now it's $300, and they're like, sorry, boo boo, that was the end of it. You should have booked immediately.
And honestly, if you're worried about booking, especially if it's something that you already have planned, I mean, this is a whole other video, but you really should just like especially if you don't have kids, just book it. And even times with Auckland, we're like, we'll book it and be like, well, if we change our mind, we have 24 hours. Because most, if not all airlines now give you that 24-hour grace period to cancel. A lot of the times now we look at things for travel, we are like, it needs to have a cancellation or we have to have travel insurance, which we most of the time do on big trips.
Yeah.
Or like, most trips now that we have a kid, because we're like, yeah, we need that option to cancel because he can get sick or something can happen, which, videos on that. Our trip to, what was it? Not Delaware, Maryland. Like something happened right before, but we didn't end up canceling the trip. But that could have really like, I mean, it wasn't that expensive, but like it was just like, it's just the principle of like we would have lost a lot of money if we couldn't have canceled if we did need it to. So that's something to keep in mind also. You can have that 24 hours or, you know, you also have travel insurance and other things that might, or your credit card might have insurance that allows you to cancel without much of a repercussion.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times when you're booking with airlines, I can't remember all of them, but I'm fairly certain it's all of them. They have a fare lock that'll lock the price in for you for, I believe, 3 days. And you have to pay a fee for it. But if you find a really, really inexpensive flight, it should just balance out the scales, especially if you're not entirely sure if this is going to work for you time-wise and everything else. Yeah.
We have a couple of friends that use that. I think United does it. That's the one I've seen the most that has like 3 or 5 or 7 day options, and then you don't get that money back that you paid to lock the price.
Charge to the game.
Yeah. All that to say that we got our flights to Detroit.
Yes.
And we got a pretty good price when it averages out for each of us, that $170, which is pretty good. And I think the flight time was like 3 hours or something like that.
That sounds right, yeah.
To Michigan.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So yeah, we're really excited. We have a couple of months until it happens, and yeah. So we have our flights. This is a lot of progress since that last that 2 videos ago where we're just like, we don't even know where we're going.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Selena, and this is my husband Kamal, and this is The City and Beyond, where we like to teach and inspire full-time employees to be the best part-time travelers. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you like it and share it with a friend.
So we were planning on going on a family. Our friends that are family to us, extended vacation to Cancun, Mexico. I think it was probably about a year ago, I want to say, where we were initially discussing it with them. And then
last August.
We just started to snowball the idea around days and times. And then we started picking areas that we wanted to go to. And we landed on everything that we wanted to do. Okay. We were going to do basic chick travel and do a resort, a really, really big one.
Basic chick travel? Is that what you just said?
This is a family show. I couldn't say the word I wanted to say. Yeah. Hi. So, Basic Betty, does that work? Does that help insinuate what I'm trying to say? Okay. So we were trying to, we picked where we wanted to go. We watched a bunch of videos. We know people who've gone to the specific location. We all locked it in. We started talking pricing, time of year,
dates,
etc. And we got a pretty good idea of it. But as the days keep going, because the years start coming and they don't stop coming, we started to realize that we actually need to finalize these ideas if we're going to turn them into actual memories. So right now we're looking at flights. And I guess we have a general idea on accommodation since we know where we're going. But at the same time, I don't know if I just said it was a resort, but it's a resort.
Yeah, we're saying it's a resort.
So then we have to pick the room. Like, should we have them individually? Should we have them conjoined? Should we get a really big one and we all just spend the entire time together? We're close-knit enough that we have like just rented a whole house together several times. Hotel rooms, etc. And just spent the entire time together. Like I said, this is essentially our family. It's actually the couple that helped put us together.
Yeah. Their boys are on our channel.
Their boys are on our channel.
Yeah.
One is Selena's godson. The mom is our son's godmother. We're
family.
We are family.
Yeah.
Straight up. So
yeah, but obviously, like we said at the beginning of this video, we also both families have to think about the financial component of this trip. It's not gonna be, you know, if you've ever been on a resort, it's pricey. It's all inclusive. You know, you have everything that you need there, but you have to pay for it. So like we're gonna have to really think about like what's realistic, and if this is still a trip that can happen. It's funny because we haven't actually had the full conversation with them yet about this, so it's funny that we're talking. By the time this comes out, we'll have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like have the full conversation about like, okay, like does this seem realistic? Like we don't want anyone to feel like I said in the beginning, like this is a rough time, and so like this should be something that should be enjoyable for you to reconnect, for you to feel like recalibrated. I think that was the word I was actually looking for earlier. I feel like travel recalibrates you so you can go back into the workforce, go back to work, and we don't want it to be a burden. So we're trying to think for ourselves and for them, like what makes sense. Is this realistic? Should we pick another destination? Maybe we just go the three of us, or with some, you know, like with other friends, and try to do the trip. But we pick a different destination with them and still go somewhere else. So we're trying to figure out the Cancun trip. But at the same time, I am still tracking flights, which that's one of the things where I'm like, yeah. It's about, right now, it keeps fluctuating between like, I would say it's been mostly in the 600s. And if you know us, obviously, we don't go anywhere that close for that much money. Or we try not to. Not that we wouldn't, but like we try not to. California, Mexico, we really try to keep it under, like 500 and under. And 500 is a stretch. That's it's a stretch. There's nothing we can do about it. It's $500.
Yeah, and that's accounting for inflation. I know we're like tiptoeing in the undertows, but like inflation and headlines aside, I understand that the price of things just go up over time and relative. Aging myself, but I remember when people freaked out when gas was $1, and it's triple that now. Yeah. So I completely get that. I think the first time I went to California, I think I spent $315-ish.
And I think most times when we go to California, we've paid past that. Like we've paid like under $400.
Right. And for perspective, we're on the East Coast, like by the water on the East Coast at that. So we're flying completely across the entire side of the country. So if you're not matching that energy as far as how far we need to fly and you're triple the price, that's a no-go.
Yeah, so that's another thing. But I have been tracking the prices. I think we have the dates locked on when we're thinking we would go.
Pretty sure.
And so I've been tracking things based off of those dates. And it has not really looked that great. It's been more on the, like today I think I got an alert that it actually hit. They were like, Hopper was like, buy now, book it now, because it was like $520 or $5 something. And I looked at the maybe it's $4. It was $400. It was $439.
That sounds right. Yeah.
And I was like, actually, this would be pretty good. Like the times that I found within that price range, because if you use Hopper, sometimes you get those alerts and it's like a type of flight, like it's a flight you don't want to get. That lowest one is like when you're like, I don't want to go on that flight. But it was actually something like within our range and kind of like time wise, and then price wise, $439 is not horrible. Like that's not bad, like for inflation and stuff.
Yeah.
But we have to buy 3 of those tickets, and on the other family side is 4. So we're thinking about like 7 tickets at $439, and then a couple thousand for the resort. Like that piles up. That really calculates very quickly to
absolutely.
a lot of thousands. And so we're not sure this is the time to do something like that, but we're willing to try to figure out ways that we can or find ways to lower the cost. So that's where we are, like the strategy, the thought behind it. And if you're interested in learning more on like how we're trying to like figure out, I mean, some of it, you know, like obviously is going to be like things like what credit cards are giving us offers for things. What can we use points for?
There's some sort of flash sale.
If there's a flash sale during the holiday, a holiday, there, you know, like the resort's like, hey, book and we'll take off 35% or whatever.
Because at the end of the day, like this is I'm gonna get all geopolitical. This is a capitalist society. So if where we're going, people aren't going at that given point in time, they're gonna be like, hey, really would love you to come. We're cutting it by 20%. Please come because we got people working here.
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, or maybe not contrary to popular belief, there were a crazy amount of deals during COVID because people were so petrified of what was going on. And I'm not talking like in the beginning when it was like wishy-washy. I'm talking like towards the end where things were calming down and less restricted, and people were like, ooh, I'm still not sure if I'm going to go. And we were like, I think I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. And so we're trying to think about all those things.
Yes.
So stay tuned. Well, in our next video, we'll likely have an update about Cancun, whether we're going or not going, or like if it's just us, or all that stuff. So, or we have another destination on top of that because we're gonna go somewhere else with the other family. So stay tuned, and then I guess accommodations for Detroit. Yeah, the other thing about accommodations, I mean, Kamal touched on Cancun's accommodations. We're doing a resort. We're using our like vacation club. There's a video for that as well when we initially got it.
Yes.
So I don't love that we have to pay every month for it, and then we still pay more when we go. This is something I'm still like trying to figure out if I like, but we do get perks,
right?
And I feel like that's really what you're.
It's kind of like a luxury credit card, or even a lot of travel cards. You're prepaying for the benefit, but you also get perks and discounts on top of it.
Yeah.
So it is a matter of looking at the total value of what you receive versus what you're contributing to it, and figuring out how to maximize it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to figure out for this trip. To make it, this Cancun trip, to make me feel better about us paying monthly for it. I'm like, we are paying the minimum amount for this trip. But anyway, that's about that accommodation. For Detroit, we do usually compare hotels and Airbnbs. We've talked about this before, and we compare pricing. And I feel like I looked at a couple of but they were like, I don't want to say high-end, but they were kind of like high-end hotels. I was just checking them out just to see like what they had. Just because I know like one of my credit cards gives us benefits for like really nice hotels sometimes. So, or not, but yeah, oftentimes you get like, there's a perk for it with my card. And so I was looking at some of those. But like one of the things now that we have a toddler is we do like having space where we have not had to, and if you follow us on Instagram, I've mentioned this a couple of times where like I put a story where I'm like, yeah, we don't do that. Like we don't really share a room with Auckland.
No,
we don't. Like what we try to do is get a suite. We did all that.
A proper suite, because I realize some of these hotel chains are saying it and not giving us what we're looking for.
Yeah, so like we did all this budget travel before we had a kid and really pinching pennies, and I feel like I always thought to myself, we have to do this now because there's gonna be a time where we can't or don't want to, and this is that time. We do most of the time a 1-bedroom suite if we're in a hotel. Whereas if you take the same price, you might get a really nice Airbnb, and so it's just like, why would you?
Sorry. What does that mean when we get a suite? because if not everyone books it. What we're saying in particular is we get the hotel room where the actual bedroom itself is enclosed with a door.
Yeah.
So we can put him to sleep in the room,
nap or bedtime,
close the door, and hang out in the living room.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you go on social media, someone's like, "Ooh, did you really travel as a parent if you're not watching movies in the bathtub?" And I was like, "I guess I never did
or
it."
eating your dinner in
because
the bathtub.
we have never done that.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, hey, I don't know. Then I would just, it would be just a different trip then.
Yeah.
If we had to do that. Or that was like the option. And that's only because that's not recalibrating anything in me. I might as well stay home.
No. Yeah. Precisely.
So we definitely have thought about, like, maybe do we want to do a hotel in Detroit, especially because hotels are more common in the like downtown area. But then we also talked about, like, we likely would want a car, and having a car in a hotel in the downtown area in any city. I just came from Philly. We just did that. It's always expensive to have that car there, even if you don't move it for the 3 days or whatever. And then sometimes they don't have enough parking, so you have to make sure you get back early enough with your car so that there is parking, so you have parking for the night and stuff like that. We don't want to do that. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do our Airbnb. I sent one actually to come out this morning that I'm pretty sure is like a really good option. It has like several rooms. I think it has more than 2 rooms. I think it has like 3. And the pricing is not that bad. It ends up being like $200 or $2 and change per night if we outside of tax, or probably with tax, I would say, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Just about. The host has several like toddler friendly things, has a high chair already, has a travel bed or twin beds in case we want to put him in the bed, and like a railing or something. There's a few really good perks of having the Airbnb over a hotel.
Yeah.
So we're likely gonna book. Well, I don't know. I think we're gonna probably book that Airbnb specifically.
For my mother in particular, I hope you're watching this video, and this will explain why sometimes we don't do a hotel. Because my mother always says, "You guys do Airbnbs, you don't do hotels." Yes, we do.
We do. We've done a lot of hotels. In the last year or two, since we've had our son.
We have to make sure all of our needs are met in order for us to book one of those hotels. So it's got to meet the budget, it's got to meet the space, and it's got to have a good location on top of it.
And this house...
bonus points for free parking or inexpensive parking.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have parking on the premise. They have... I think a whole house. And they have the toddler stuff. Price-wise, probably about the same or cheaper than us getting a 1-bedroom hotel room, because a regular hotel room might be cheaper than maybe the Airbnb that we're about to book, but a 1-bedroom hotel room suite would be either more than or on par with what we're about to pay, probably, depending on the area. And then what was the other thing you said? Yeah, space. And it's like not too far from downtown was the other thing.
Yeah.
So it seems like we can actually walk to some things from the house, which was that was a really cool option to have as well. So I feel like this is a good, we'll have the stroller, we'll walk.
And I mean, for all we know, we're going to go there and find out their transit system is really good, but we don't play Russian roulette with that.
Yeah.
Because
And
we know factually that we have one of the better systems in the country, period, here. And I would never make the mistake of imagining that it's the same elsewhere. I went to college in the Midwest for a little bit, and I remember where I was in particular, it doesn't matter where it was, but the buses stopped running at like 7, 8 o'clock, which is insanity in this given area where buses run basically 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be out somewhere and then you got to like figure out the Uber situation, but then you don't have a car seat for the child and everything like that. So there's a chance we might be getting in the car just to go to and from the airport, and we can just walk everywhere else except for like a couple of excursions. And in the end of the day, that convenience is worth it.
Yeah, because we're thinking about going to Ann Arbor, or was it Dearborn?
That sounds right.
Dearborn, that area, which isn't too far from where we're thinking also. But so I feel like downtown's not the only place we were thinking. So
Right.
times like that, I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense to have a car, but it's nice to be able to just like walk, especially because we have a toddler that we need to burn out. So him being able to walk or see things is really nice. So we're pretty excited about like that's the last piece of our main like planning for Detroit. We booked the rental car already.
Yep.
We have the flights, and then I think we're probably about to book this Airbnb. So that's all three of the main three components. Yay! Went from no destination to fully booked for our milestone birthday trip. So, yes. We we haven't done the Airbnb yet, but pretty much. Like, we have something. Yeah. So, hey, and we kept our word. We actually, like, met our goal that by this video, we would have, like, something more concrete.
Yeah.
And so now we're just looking to the one, like, come outside of the one after that would be Cancun, and we're still figuring that one out. We have a little time. Let me check the notes.
Okay, so I think that's going to be it for us. How are you guys enjoying this video? We don't really go into detail that often. This is kind of a new series. Do you want us to go deeper in Cancun? Do you want us to go deep on every trip that we take? Because we have a few lined up. I'd like to remind the people who have been here for a while who thought that we slowed down because we had a child. No, the travel didn't slow down. The content creation. That's pretty much it. We're still going places.
Yeah.
You would know that if you followed our Instagram.
Yeah,
Hello.
I do always try to highlight something,
Hello.
especially when we're away or just came back from somewhere. I try to put some things. Yeah. I just went to Philly for like a little girls trip for a weekend. I did like a quick little weekend away. And before that, we had just gone to the Boston area. Yep. And before that, we already told you guys we went to New Hampshire. So, like local, but we've been going places. And obviously, we thought we were going to go to Africa. But instead, we're going to Detroit, and then we have Cancun, and then the only other bigger thing we have planned is Chicago for the end of the year.
Yeah. We have to go back to the Boston area.
And we have to go back to the Boston area.
So that's like 4 more trips, including the Detroit that we have mapped out. And funny enough, we also have plans for next year as well. It's a perpetual moving machine.
Yes. And so please remember to subscribe and like this video.
Like the video. Any questions you have or anything you want us to go deeper into, please let us know in the comments below.
And if you have any travel budget tips, please leave them in the comments. We would love to see them. Share with the community here. And I think we'll see you next month with another planning video.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.